Hey everyone. Today's Nurtured Heart Tidbit is about the difference between stand 1, no to negativity, and stand 2, yes to positivity. Really, it's more about relationship than it is about negative and positive. So it's what type of relationship are we having around negativity, and what type of relationship are we having around things that we consider to be positive, or things that are generative, things that are helpful and supportive. In this case, let me talk about a student that we're working with. What's needed to be done for him is we need to define some lines around where we will engage and where we won't engage, because the engagement was all upside down. He was getting a lot out of his problems. People were coming to his rescue and helping to support him and help him through his problems, just like all good-natured, helpful adults would do. And so in their good-heartedness, they created an upside-down situation where this kid found the more intense, engaging interactions around these problems. And what wasn't happening, and what still isn't happening even after we wrote a protocol and are working through it, is when things are going well and when he is on track and on target and in program, there's not quite the level of passionate engagement, not quite the level of intense interaction that there is when he flips to having a challenge. When adults are in the environment and they're tasked to support kids, and kids go off the rails, there's a little bit of emotional response that happens inside, and people want to lean in and help, and it feels like there's some urgency. Sometimes it's highly distracting. Sometimes it's challenging for other students around to get their work done, to learn, to feel safe, those kind of things. And so in that urgency, adults shift their tone, their volume, their cadence of their voice, their body language. Things change. And then when things are going well, adults tend to settle into passivity and backing off and not being engaged and giving space and checking phones and talking to other staff members, and really kind of disappearing out of the picture as compared to when there's challenging behavior. And when I was talking to the staff members the other day, I was saying, it's almost like if you watch me when I work with this kiddo, I'm essentially narrating everything that's going on. I'm walking with him. I'm talking about how he's walking. I'm looking at him walking in line. I'm looking at him being near his friends. I'm giving him thumbs up and saying, man, check you out. You're walking with your buddies. How cool is that you're being a good friend, that you're walking and you're giving them space, and you're walking in line with them, and you're being friendly, and you have a smile on, and you're connecting. I love how, you're being a role model of how to walk in line. I mean, it's interesting to just be able to kind of narrate what you're seeing when somebody is on track, and the response I get is wild. I'd say 99.9% of the time, when I'm doing a good job of being truthful and being authentic, being the true me. When I'm talking to a kid, even little to big, they're very receptive. They seem to be filled up and enjoy it. This kiddo happens to be a kindergartner who has a lot of energy, and he definitely responds to this positive, narrative, connected approach. And it's just really fun to watch him light up. He lights up when I walk alongside him and I talk about what he's doing, or he's on the playground being with friends, and look at you sharing, and look at you asking to step into a game, and look at you moving away and giving yourself space. And, then I get to talk about what that is, That's so responsible. You're so compassionate when you give that person space, or you check on that person because they were hurt. It shows that you care about your friends. Whatever comes up, it's worth taking the time to try this on, to try on positive narration and a fun game to play. If you're like, well, this is weird and I'm not sure, and how does this work? Try it on yourself. It's actually kind of fun. Yeah. Narrating what you're doing and being enthusiastic about the things that you're doing well in your day, or the normal, boring, expected things. Well, guess what? When things aren't going well, those normal, boring, expected things become the coolest things ever. Because when what hits the fan, you're just praying for normal, boring, expected. So I say, lean in to the normal, boring, expected. Start to practice your narration. Start to practice connecting your narration to character traits that matter. Share that with other people just for fun. See what impact that has on you. See what impact that has on other people. And if you're like me, just be playful. This doesn't have to be such serious work. I can be serious, but that's not what gets me excited. What gets me excited is let's adventure. Let's be goofy. Let's try on some things and see, oh, that didn't sound authentic, but it sure was fun to try. Let me say it a different way. Oh, that sounded authentic. Oh, look at that person's smile. Try saying something to a cashier as you're moving through the grocery store, and say something authentic about what they're doing and how they're operating, and just see how they respond and react. You're just narrating. You narrate what you see them doing, and then you add on, and here's what I think it means. Here's the cool investment that you're giving into this world. You're investing your life force into this world in this beautiful, unique way, and I think you should hear about it. Hope that helps. Hope that's fun. Hope you have a good adventure, and I'll be making more videos. See you on the internet.